And although people don't know about you in this very moment, the world would know soon. That's how you have to look at it. That's how I look at it on certain things. Like, it's cool, okay, but just keep going. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
That's all.
You just have to keep going, and it has to be within to know, like, in a humble way, I could do it.
Well, my boy Julian, welcome back, brother. How you doing?
My brother, love, bro.
I was thinking about it, man. Like, what do we do in the times of like having too much time on our hands? So, what do we do in the moments when we're feeling stuck? When we're feeling like, what's our calling? What do we need to lean on? And a lot of us can turn to drugs, turn to sex, can turn to alcohol. And I think there needs to be a time for it to end. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You get to a point to where you're tired of living in darkness, right?
Yeah.
And it's time to say, what now? It's time to say, I need to get back up. I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's leaning on faith, right?
For sure.
But I think today's overall message and theme that I want to go off of is just living in the now and being able to create healthy habits. So that way, when you're in that stuck moment, when you're feeling alone, you're not tying yourself to the negativity like that, you know? Yeah, so to kick it off, bro, we're in this discussion right now, guys, of talking about the difference between independence and loneliness. Julian, what are some of the things that you do in your everyday routine that some of these guys can take from that and approach in their life?
For sure. I'm going to answer because you mentioned something first. So
Perfect,
to answer the question that you said firsthand, that's a super good question because this past Sunday at church, the pastor was kind of speaking on, a remedy in regards to what you just mentioned. And in regards to like, being in a space to where you just don't know what's going on. You might have too much time. You're trying to figure things out.
Bro. Yeah.
It's really, and this is what the pastor said, and it was super prophetic. He said, pray. For one, he was talking about fasting. So that's a route too. But he was literally saying, pray until you receive an answer. So like just continuously like pray, like unwavering prayer, unwavering faith. And that's a real thing in a sense of like, because when he said that, like it was very like pivotal for things that like for me, just in regards to just life, you know what I mean? Things we talk about, having aspirations, goals and things like that. And, not being in a space where you might not know what's going on. You're trying to figure things out. You might be in a space of unrest, whatever it is. He was saying like genuinely just pray, continuously pray.
Bro. Yeah.
Pray when you're in the car, pray when you wake up, pray while you're working. Like he tied it to fasting, but he was saying how like basically just pray, like pray about what your aspirations are, be very specific and have that conversation just like how we're speaking. Talk to God like in a very, very honest way.
Yeah.
And just continuously pray. It's not like you just have to pray when you wake up and pray when you go to sleep.
Sure.
No, pray before you eat, pray while you're eating, pray while you're watching TV, pray while you're wherever, just pray in your mind. So I think that's the best thing that somebody can do in regards to the first thing that you just asked.
That's nuts. I want to go off of that real quick. You mentioned that because we were talking about prayer on Sunday's message too. Yeah. And again, the pastor just said it in a just amazing way, and it was influential into my life, into what a lot of these guys that can take from this episode when we're talking about prayer. He was saying we always tend to pray when things there's a reaction to something, right? When there's something bad happens, but we don't pray to prepare for something or to get ready for a storm that should be coming. And when you think about it, prayer is just a conversation with God, like you mentioned. Absolutely. And he told us and, made us kind of put us in a challenge in a sense of like, I want you guys to pray from here on out, at least every day for the rest of the year and see how your life is lived. More people prayed before they did something or, committed an action or, did a job interview. They would see a different light at the end of that. Yeah. And it doesn't have to turn into a job being received or an offer being made, but what it turns into is your conviction in your faith is totally backed by everything that you're saying and presenting. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, dude, the times that I prayed before anything, right? Games, meeting somebody new, putting myself in situations, they've usually worked out pretty well for me, even if it was a learning experience. So I think first and foremost, prayer is what we have to do as men.
Absolutely.
And the only way to lead and impact is to lean on prayer because that's the only guidance that we're ever knowing that is real and credible. You know what I'm saying?
True. That's very true. Yeah, man. Like that's that. But again, the first question that you asked,
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
what made me think about that. Because we could talk about like how we talk about going to the gym,
Yeah,
reading, doing things
yeah.
like that. We repeat, like we reiterate those things.
Mm-hmm.
But genuinely, in a space of just unrest, all you can do is pray because there's certain things we just can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can control what we can control, but just as far as the unknown and just life and certain things like that, we have to lean on God for that.
Yeah.
Now, for your second question in regards to just very, I think you said specific things I do on a daily.
Yeah, away from let's get away from the things that you mentioned. Like everyone talks about the gym.
For sure,
Everyone
for
talks
sure.
about, eating healthy,
Absolutely.
fasting.
Yeah,
We've mentioned some of that stuff on
absolutely.
the podcast, but like what are some things that you could offer to a guy that maybe they haven't thought of in that realm or that space?
Yeah, just during idle time or just doing like time when they just have just open space.
Yeah, yeah.
Time. For sure. I would say one thing, honestly, like journal. That's one thing we've spoken about, but not really too much in depth. But I think journaling is something that's very, very important. And throughout reading, I know we speak about books all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure in the books you've read and books I've read, journaling or writing things down is something that's linear to for emotion, to impeding growth, and just to like evolving.
And that's a form of prayer.
It is exactly. But like when you write it down, when you put it in the physical, there's something about actually seeing it. There's something about actually you materializing it into writing form. So journaling, what's going on, what your aspirations are, where you're at in life, what's going on around you, what you want to do, what you want to where you want to live, just certain things. Now you're materializing it. So now you can hold yourself accountable to, okay, let's say you re-signed on a lease. The next lease, you want to live somewhere else. You want a different apartment, or you want to live this way. A year from now, you can look at it and be like, oh, wow, I'm actually living where I said I was going to live.
Yeah.
Because now you can hold yourself accountable. Like me personally, I journal, and then I also have a whiteboard in my room.
I love that.
I have
Yeah,
certain,
bro.
where I have certain lists, and I have certain mantras and things like that. And I look at it every day. And for example, one of them was go to at least 2 new countries in this year. That's something that I like, but I'm looking at it every day. That's just one of them. And I'm going to achieve that by the end of the year. So it's like,
that's nice,
you have to hold
Good for
yourself,
you.
thank you, but you have to hold yourself accountable in a sense of seeing it and just you're constantly seeing it. Constantly. Like we can say things in our head like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you might forget about it. Life goes on. There's so much that can happen. So again, not to be too long-winded, but that's one thing that I think a lot of guys can do as far as like subsiding the things that we talk about a lot. Journal, write it down, whatever it is, materialize it in the writing format.
And that's a great point because you got yourself looking at it right as you wake up every morning. And I think for a lot of us, right, if you don't have as a man any type of decor in your room like me, I haven't, spent a lot of time, taking care of decorating my room. Yeah. I think it's so important to have those things as you first wake up, whether it's on your phone or whatever, but looking at them, knowing which direction you should be going in your day to day. Because if you look at that, okay, I got to get to 2 countries this year. You know where your money has to align that
Absolutely.
day. You know what you have to do at your work to be, to be a good employee, to be able to help out, to be able to work, to earn that check, and show up at the gym so that way you can look good when you're traveling.
It's everything, man.
Yeah, bro. So it all is linear, like you say. And I think a good point to get into this, to carry this conversation on, is the way to journal for guys. And I think, an easy excuse is, oh, well, I just don't know where to start. I don't know how to just pick up the pen. And if there was a structure and a format and a template to follow, I would do it. And I'll give my advice, and then you can kind of offer yours.
Absolutely.
But like when I journal, my main things are to write down my blessings of the day first and foremost. Like, thank you, Lord, for my health, for the situation I am in financially. Thank you, Lord, for the friends that I have, the real love that I have in my life, and the opportunities to do the things that I want to do and I enjoy doing. And I think when you open your mindset up to that, and when you're speaking to God, because when I journal, I'm speaking directly to God.
Absolutely.
It allows you to be like, wow, like I have all this stuff in my life that's making me full. Now I can get into things that I feel worthy enough to maybe not ask for, but like you said, put yourself accountable for, to traveling, to hitting a new PR at the work at the gym, to finding a new job, to buying a house.
Yeah.
All those things will come after you acknowledge your blessings. And that's one area that he mentioned also in the sermon was, you got to count your blessings before you can expect anything else in return.
For sure.
And when you do that, you don't sound like you're coming from a place of stinginess or entitlement. You're coming from a place of, Lord, thank you for all of this stuff. This is where I want to align. How can you help me? And I even think it's important to write down questions when you journal of like, Lord, is this something that should be done right now, or is this something that I put on my back burner?
Absolutely.
And I do write down questions as well. So, yeah, man, those 2 tips I would offer to any guy out there that is just wanting to get started. First and foremost, start with the blessings, then ask the questions. And maybe your answers come within the questions that you've asked, because like I said, it's all intuition and trusting God to give you the faith to be able to step into that realm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's humbling, and it's kind of hard to get intimate with your prayer and your journal life. Like, it's not something that you would think that's the most sexy thing a dude can do. But when you do it, you see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
So
That's very true, man. Those are good things. And that's a super blessing that you said that, because that's one of the things that I do as well.
Yeah,
as
sweet.
far as
Heck
saying
yeah.
like being very specific, like thank you, Jesus, for specific things.
Yeah.
Thank you for good health, like you said. Thank you for a job. Thank you for being able to save. Actually, like showing gratitude, just saying I'm grateful.
Yeah.
You know, showing gratitude. And then, you know, I forget which book I was reading, but within the book, I believe it was Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. They speak about how to pray, in the sense of sometimes people pray in a begging way. And it's not, for clarity, no way is wrong to pray. No way is wrong to pray. However, when you are coming to God, he was saying how like you want to speak in the form of you're claiming it already. So you're saying, God, thank you for this in advance. Thank you for this blessing in advance.
Yeah.
Thank you for whatever. Thank you for this new car in advance. You might not have it,
right,
but you're claiming it already. Thank you, Jesus, for providing this car, whatever the car is. It could be whatever you put. Thank you for this car in advance. Thank you for whatever it is in advance, because now you're operating in a space of claiming it. You're operating in a space of abundance.
It's touchable, yeah.
Exactly. And then, yeah, man, I think, you know, I kind of forget what I was going to say, but to reiterate what you were going to say, I think it's very, very imperative for guys that journal, man. It's like, you don't have to format it, just write.
Yeah.
Just write. Like, I do bullet points, so I'll write and I'll go, and it might be a whole page. It might be half a page, but I'm just going. I'm going, and then I'll do another bullet point for another topic, but I'm not thinking about the topic as I'm writing. It's just I'm in flow state.
Yeah.
So it's just what's coming to my mind. It's what I'm thankful for, what I want to receive, certain goals. And also, this is what I was going to say, and I'll close with this. And when questioning, asking God if it's in his will. So when I'll ask questions, I'll ask like, Lord, if this is in your will, allow this to manifest. Okay. If it's not in your will, direct me to what's in your will. Because I don't want to do anything that's outside of your will.
Yeah.
And to be very, very specifically, it's for like, I'll be very honest. Like I've asked in journaling with music, like, Jesus, if it's in your will for me to continue with music, allow things to open up. If it's not, allow me to go into a different endeavor that is in your will, to where I can exceed, to where I can excel. So I'm saying that to be very, very specific.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like asking God, what's in your will for you? Because we all have talents, and we could be doing things that it's like, well, this is a gift, but is it because I want to do this? Or is it because this is your will for me?
This is the will, and this is what I've gifted you to do.
Exactly. So that's it's a very like, it's an intricate like situation, because we all have talents, like I said, but a lot of times it could be like, well, and we've talked about it through sports numerous times, but it's like, well, are we doing this talent because we know we're good at it and we're talented in it? And it could align with God's purpose, but is it just because we want to do it?
Yeah. Is it self-will?
You know what I mean? Is it self-will? Is it self-grandizement? So it's like, it's very, very like intricate in regards to like how that goes, but I'll just close with that. I think just asking like, God, what's in your will, and allow your will to be done. Whatever it is, allow it to manifest. And if it's not, pivot me to something else that's in your will. Because if it's in your will, it's gonna flourish. If not, you're still gonna like allow things to happen, but I want to be in your will.
Yeah.
So
I think the opposite of that would be, or not the opposite, but the reason why guys wouldn't want to do that, right? I think it's genuinely because we're scared.
For sure.
We're scared to ask for the right answers from God, because we know how strong and powerful that he is, right? We have faith in him to guide us and to protect us in the times of need, but in the times of want, again, we stray away.
For sure. Yeah, that's
real. We
real.
rely on self-will. We rely on our flesh. We rely on our principled mindset of like this 2 + 2 = 4 because that's just the way it is. But again, man, it was such a beautiful sermon and message, and I took so many notes during it. And the way he said it was, a lot of times us as people don't want to know the right answer, which is why a lot of us choose to not pray. And I put myself in that situation, dude, because I've been in that time, and it's scary for one. It's coming out of a place of like true, like you're out of fright, you know, like because we know we're gonna get the right answer, or we're gonna get put on the path that we should be on if we ask those questions. And a lot of guys aren't ready for that, including myself with certain things. So I think you start with, you know, something small. You know what I'm saying? Like writing down things is definitely a healthy way. If prayer isn't a big, you know, isn't a big habit and a routine in your life, I think by starting with writing things down, you can't lose, because those thoughts are getting written on a paper, and you can come back to them and ask for a different type of forgiveness, or ask for other things in that exact same way that you mentioned. So that way it still aligns with counting your blessings and approaching with, you know, God, thank you for this situation when it comes up. For sure. You know what I mean? So
now that makes sense, man. And I think like that is a real thing, you know, being afraid of like maybe what you know is the answer. Not maybe you don't know the answer, but you have an inclination of what you know you're supposed to be doing.
What you know what you're supposed to be doing.
And praying about it and knowing like it's come to, because sometimes you pray about things and you genuinely don't know. Sometimes you pray about things and people usually say in the back of your mind or the back of your head is usually on the forefront. So you really know like, I need to get better at this, or I should be doing this. So it's like, that's where you said like the fright comes in, because it's like you're praying for like basically validation on something that you know you're either not supposed to be doing, or you know you're supposed to be doing something else.
For sure.
So that's a real thing. But even in that, it's still pray. Regardless, it's just, you know, just pray. Pray.
It's conversation, bro. Even if you're doing that, I think again, it's a big start, because a lot of us don't talk to God at all, right? Like we talk to him when we need him. So sitting in that moment, and like you said, I think another great tip to getting started, if you, we'll call it writer's block for people that, you know, understand what that means, but you just don't know what to write on paper. Write your feelings of the day. Like there's been so many times where I've had instances, whether it's work related, whether it's in friendships, relationships, whatever, where I just simply write down, I didn't like this thing didn't make me feel good, or this conversation had me feeling this way. Why was that? I'll end it with why was that? And sometimes I'll bullet point off maybe reasons why it did that to me. Insecurity. It's probably true, and I know it's true, so it hurt my feelings. Or just plain out, it was disrespectful, and it hurt my feelings. And sometimes I don't even write reasons on why I hurt my feelings. Just the fact that I wrote it down, I'm released from it. You know, I'm taken away from that type of emotion. And that's why I said, bro, I think a lot of us have built up resentment, anger, jealousness, or jealousy. Sorry, jealous not a word. Jealousy. And if we just took the time, and it sounds so silly, I get it. It sounds so silly, but if we took the time to write things down more often than not, I think us as men would have better patience, better understanding of our emotions, and come from a place of like true maturity to be able to be like, look, like I know when this conversation needs to end, because it's getting me to this point. I've written it down 5 to 6 times already, and I see a routine and like a rhythm of how certain things get talked about and how it makes me feel.
Yeah, man, I agree. Writing it down, I mean, we could keep reiterating it, but like, I mean, and I'll for sure, I'll end it like this, man, because we talk about sports so much. When your coach is drawing up the play, he's writing it down.
Yeah, that's true.
He's showing it to you. He's not just saying, go here, do this, do that. No, he's showing it so you can actually see it. It's being materialized in your face. It's the same as your emotions. It's the same as your aspirations, your goals, your endeavors. Write it down. So then also you can look back after weeks, after months, after a year and say, wow, I did that. Or I thought I was going to do this, but look at where God took me, and look at who I've met now, and look at where I've been now. And like, you want to be able to look back. It's just like a tangible written version of a picture book. You can look back and say, so true, like, bro. Wow, look at what I wrote down. Look at what I've done. Or look at the changes that have been made, or the different, you can just reflect back on it. So Just journal. There's no perfect way. There's no way to do it. There's no format. Just write. Just write. Just journal.
I'll end with this. This is the last thing we'll talk about for writing things down. A short story. I remember I still have this journal till till this day. My first ever journal was a little black notebook. And I remember I was about 22 years old, living at home, just thinking that my life was worthless. Like I was living with my parents, whatever. Like I just felt like stuck. I felt stuck.
Yeah.
Woke up. It was around probably like a month after I talked about wanting to start a brand. I opened up a page and I wrote down the exact number I wanted to make in a salary. I wrote down the job that I wanted to have. And I wrote down how it would benefit me if I was to get to that and what I would learn from it to get to the point to where I could eventually run my own business. Bro, tell me why, like, maybe a year went by, I got into that job, and I'm swifting through pages, right? Because I'm looking for something, and it just naturally, you know how when you open a book, it just naturally opens up to the verse. It's what it just opened up, and I saw it, bro, and wow, goosebumps. So it's real, bro. Like
no, it's real.
I'm
man.
sure you could tell the exact same story. So
it's very real, man. Like I'm on my second journal, so it's just like,
heck yeah.
When you look back, whenever you do, because it's not like a frequent thing.
No.
But whenever you do, you're able to say like, "Wow, I accomplished this," or "Wow, look at the changes that were made," or "Wow, like I didn't do this." So it's just being able to reflect back. But yeah, like there's just so many benefits for tangibly writing it down. And what it does ultimately is it holds you accountable to yourself. Because now you put it in writing. Now you can see it. If you just keep it in your mind, there's nothing to where you can't look in your mind. You know what I mean? But you can write somewhere and look like, oh, I wrote that down. Let me do this. I made this promise to myself. I said I was going to do this. If you're going to be accountable with yourself, that's another thing too. Not to be long-winded, but when journaling, you have to be real with yourself.
Oh,
you have to, if you're going to journal, like at least, I don't want to seem too strong about it, but be very, very specific on actions behind it.
Nobody's going to read it.
Because faith without works is dead. So if you're just saying things that you want and you're not actively going out to achieve it, then what are you really doing for real? So if you're actually wanting to evolve and your life to get better or to acquire certain things and ultimately be in the will of God, you need to take action on these things. It can't just be, I'm writing it down and I'm just going to lay on the couch and then that's it every day. And I'm just going to journal every day. Well, now what are you doing? Like you're not being active about whatever you're trying to do. So when you are journaling, be accountable for yourself in regards to like, okay, I said I was going to do this one within a year. Am I actively trying to do this on a daily to day basis to achieve this? If not, well, only you can hold yourself accountable, but one can't be like, oh, why didn't this materialize? And I wrote it down. Well, did you take the actions necessary? So that's another thing with journaling too. Like journal it down, but also internally be action based on the achievements that you're trying to obtain.
Writing and journaling are two completely different things, man. So like, again, stay intentful with everything and have intention in everything you do. So that way it aligns with the reward of holding yourself accountable and being genuinely honest. So I think those are great points to offer to any guy out there that are, again, is struggling, bro. Like, I don't think we can say this enough. You know, living life isn't about just, sunshines and rainbows. It's about getting through the struggle and getting over the humps of life that you are, not doing well in. So that brings me to the next question, Julian. Why do you think guys go through the stuck phase in life? Like, what would you think are some like common factors if we had a blanket statement reasons on why guys struggle with being stuck?
That's a really good question, man. Because it could be very nuanced, but I think a lot of times there's a certain level of comfortability or complacency that comes with being stuck, whether somebody realizes that or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm reflecting on just times, and we've all been in a space of being stuck. And I think when we reflect on those times, there's a certain level of uncomfortability that's needed to get out of that for real. And I mean that in the sense of there's a certain level of just being tired of whatever that situation is and being like, nah, I need to get up out. Like and every fiber in me needs to be active to be like, I need to get out of this situation. I need to actively, at least, maybe it doesn't happen immediately, but taking the steps to get wherever you want. Like when you said you journaled in your journey, you said you want to have this job, you want to have this brand. you took actionable steps to do it, whether it was going to get equipment. Like, I mean, you all can't necessarily see the setup, but there's so much equipment in here. Like, they're like
We're packed in right now.
The equipment setup in here is like, man, like you can, like if anybody were to walk in right here, you would be able to see Fobs put real money and time into the efforts, into the equipment for his own brand, like investing in self.
Appreciate that.
No, absolutely, love, bro. But like, I'm saying it, but you can see it.
Yeah.
So to not acknowledge it would be complete denial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these are real things to where it's like somebody walks in here, oh, he's serious. He's invested about he's invested about what he said. He wanted to create a brand. Oh, look at the things that are in here. Look at the lights. Look at the cameras. Look at the computer. Like, look at the setup. He wasn't playing. And I say that to say you have to be actionable within it. So in a place of being stuck, it's like there is a level of kind of complacency or kind of like, just being comfortable, and not in a bad way, just in a way to where it's like that urge might not be as strong as you might need it to be to get out of there for real. Because if it's really that bad, and not in a bad way, but if whatever you want and desire to achieve is really there, there's certain actions that you're just naturally going to start taking, reaching out to people, emailing people, whatever it is, whatever that endeavor is, you're going to be in a space to where it's like, I'm tired of being in this stagnant place. Let me start taking let me take that first step.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's the first thing. But if it's just I feel stuck. Well, inevitably.
You're not stuck enough. Some would say.
Yeah, or you don't want it bad enough in a sense of just taking that first step. Because there's no perfect time. You just have to take that first step, and then God will allow things to just steamroll. And also just within you taking those actionable steps, things will just start to happen.
Yeah.
So it's the reality of just taking that first step. And I would say if somebody's stuck, it's like, well, internally, what are you doing to try to at least get out of that? It's all an internal thing. So and being honest with yourself, like we're saying, accountability, whether it's journaling, whether it's feeling stuck, only an individual can answer that for themselves.
Yeah.
What are they actionably doing to try to get out of that? And that's only something somebody can be honest with internally. So that's the first thing I would say is like, what are you actually trying to do to get to better that situation?
For sure. It's like Eric Thomas said, I know we're big on like inspirational and people that are wise, that come from like real depth in their life. Like, I remember the first ever inspirational video I saw on YouTube when I was in high school. It was an Eric Thomas video where he was talking to a bunch of kids. And I remember this part, very vividly, where he's talking to him about a guy that walks out to the beach to meet with his guru. You've heard it. It's the most famous line ever. Yeah. And he's talking about how this dude the guru puts the guy's head in the water because he tell him to walk out. And he was just so tired of being stuck. So he went out, trusted this guru. This guru was like, keep walking, keep going in the water. And he's just like, man, what is this dude? I'm about to leave. And the guru just goes back, dumps his head, and he's drowning him. Trying to get up, he can't. And he brings him up. And the first thing he tells him, he's like, what is it that you wanted to do in that moment presently when you were getting like dunked into water? And he said, I wanted to breathe. And I think that aligns with what we're talking about. And that's what I mean by a lot of us just aren't stuck enough to where it's affecting our day-to-day life. And that's scary, bro. It's really scary. But like I said, the pastor said it very well. Some of us will not get the answers until we are struggling so bad, till we're like, I don't want this anymore. I'm too tired. I'm sick. I'm affected physically and mentally to the point to where I'm just ready to give up, And that's a scary feeling. But for some of us, that's the wake-up call that we need. And it's so harsh because, again, free will is such a good and bad thing, right? It's a paradox of like so many different emotions and feelings and things you know, things you don't know, to be able to get into that slump of, I got to give up and give God, a chance to take real action in my life, so that way I can take the first step into doing what's going on. So I do think having that, bro, like we're sitting in a place of do not get to the point to where it's affecting you that bad. And I think the first step is the biggest step, right? But the most impactful steps are the consistent ones. So if they can continue to keep taking at least an inch, right? Yeah. An inch every single day, journaling, getting into a habit, getting back into the gym. Like, I think all those are going to play a bigger role into not feeling stuck anymore. Because I would argue I only feel stuck when I don't feel productive.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah, I would just say have to take that first step. Just take the first step. Like, but again, it does have to be and this is not to say it in a bad way. It's just in a motivational way. Whatever the situation is, it has to be so dire that you're like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. We both are from different cities. We moved here. We talk about certain endeavors. It gets to a point to where you're like, yo, I need change.
Yeah.
Like, I need change. And it's not to say struggle isn't going to come within you achieving or like going after it. That's part of it. But it has to be like, I can't stay here.
No.
Like, I can't stay here.
Sure. Yeah.
I have to do whatever I need to. And we're talking, of course, in a morally sound way.
No, yeah.
But I need to do what I need to do to be able to progress. I cannot stay here. And I think a lot of people can, if we just put something very specific on it, it could be wherever your hometown is and being like, yo, I can't stay here anymore. Like, I have to leave. I have to move. I have to go somewhere else. You might have to sleep on your friend's couch for a little while. You might have to, that's part of the process. It's not going to be like that forever, but it has to be so dire that it's like, I need to get out. Like, if it's not like that, one, you have to be accountable because for somebody else, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
For sure.
And they're gonna, and we see it again. We talk about sports a lot, but you see somebody who's hungry and you think like, oh, he wants it. She wants it because it's that dire for them.
Yeah.
They want it that bad. So when you see it as an athlete and you see somebody who's like, oh no, they really want it. They're giving it everything. They're in the gym. They're staying after. They're seeking extra coaching. They want it that bad. That's a replication of life. Other people really want it that are talented too.
Yeah.
Not just operating off will. They actually are talented and they really want it. So if you want it, you're also going up against, and it's not competition, but you also have to keep in mind, there are people that want what you want too, that are going for it.
Yeah. And that complacency turns into, well, they had that. I didn't have that.
Yeah. Or jealousy, like you said. People,
for sure.
Oh, look at where they are now. Look, well, you don't know the backstory. They went off on their ledge, and in the Alchemist, the book The Alchemist, it talks about it's called your personal journey. And that's what it is. It's going off on your journey. It's your personal legend. Your personal legend. And what that is basically going out and seeking your destiny for yourself. Because only you can achieve that. God is with you, but your parents can't force you into your destiny. Your friends can't force you. Yeah. Nobody could want what you want more than you. So if you're not going to take that first step of being like, I'm going for it, other people are going to come into it. Look what we're doing. You took your step. We ended up we have a relationship as brothers now. Like, everything just is steamrolls.
Yeah, it did.
You didn't imagine at this point like we would meet. I didn't know I was going to meet you a few years ago. Like, but this is what happens when you are on your journey. Like, this is a testament right now. Us being right here in front of the camera is a testament to what you wanted to do. As far as your brand, as far as a podcast, as far as I had no idea in the beginning, but it's like it's all God. When we reflect back, how else does it pan out like this?
No, definitely not by free will. That's for sure. Because if we would have given up, that would have been it, right?
Well, how does it get to this point right now? By you taking that first step.
Oh yeah, easily.
Getting equipment, interviewing people, letting it be known you have a brand. You're on your purpose in regards to a podcast and other endeavors. It's the first step. Now look, all the equipment that you have, but when you just sit back and reflect, it's like, wow, this is all because of taking that first step.
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes we just get so caught up in, and it's understandable, just life and just the accumulation of things, that when we take a step back and it's like, wow, I achieved this just from taking that step or that risk. And it's just going to keep going further and further and further. That's why quitting can't be an option. But that's something different. But yeah, you just have to take that step. You have to.
Yeah, and I think it's taking the step in knowing that there's probably not going to be anything at the other side of that step.
You don't even know.
That's the thing. But you got to have the expectation, like, there's not going to be someone there to cheer you on when you take the first step. Like, if you really got good people in your life, it's like, all right, cool, but do it for a week. Do it for a month. And I think the accountability partners is probably the second half of this, which, we can talk about in a later episode, but you got to have people that are holding you to a realistic accountability on the step that you're taking, and not just saying, oh, bro, let's celebrate. Like, you started this business. Like, that's amazing. Like, you said you wanted to do it. You did it. And then you say 6 months to a year goes by. it's stagnant. There's nothing going on. And I see that time and time again with podcasts, with people who are musicians, with edit, like so many people that want to start businesses. And the easiest example I can give is whenever we started doing this, bro, for what, 3 or 4 months, I mean, I didn't hear much of like the stuff. Like I was posting it. There wasn't that much traffic or traction. There's still like, I wasn't really getting that feedback of like, oh yeah, like, you know, this is a real thing that's really getting out across the valley. It was getting back home, but it didn't have that yet. And then it wasn't until, man, the spring or summer of this year where we started seeing, we started hearing, we started like, oh, you do that podcast over here. And
tell them the story. Tell them the story about when you were out. I wasn't out with you all this time when the guy ran up on you and was like,
oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh man. This was
that's intricate, bro. That's not little. You know what I mean?
That's for sure. It was big. It was a blessing too, and he still listens to this to the podcast. So I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. You know who you are. Like I'm not gonna put you out there like that, but thank you so much for
man. Absolutely.
You know, interacting, for being a part of this. I don't like calling people fans. Like you're part of the community,
absolutely
supporters. Like you're a community into what we're walking and what we're doing in this.
For sure.
But short story. Like I think me and Deshaun were out one night in downtown Phoenix, and the last thing that I'm expecting from anything is to hear or see somebody that understands like the content that I do or what I share. And this guy comes up to me and it's loud, bro. But for some reason, like whenever he was such a nice guy, dabbed him up, what's up? I thought he was just trying to say what's up or whatever. Like, hey, cool fit. Bro, I listen to your podcast. I'm like, oh, word. He's like, I listen to every episode. It's truly helped me. It's benefited my life. And I'm seeing a big difference in the way I'm living. Bro, that was the best compliment that I've ever received in my entire life.
That's all it takes, man.
Like, and we're decent at sports, right? Like we were good.
For sure.
That, like skyrocketed any compliment I got athletically.
Absolutely.
So the point of that is it took us, 7 months of working and editing and recording an episode every single week to get the one compliment. And that is when I was like, okay, look back, take a step back, look back, appreciate motivation, inspiration, whatever you want to call it, and let's keep going.
Keep going, man.
And some people, like you said, the ones that understand that will see it two ways, right? They'll see it as, oh, let's keep going, or they'll see it as, oh, let's take a step back and just relax a little bit. And it's like, which one are you?
You have to get motivation by things like that and continuously go in it. You mentioned something in regards to like, from a self standpoint of continuously going. One of my favorite artists, you know who he is too, Larry June. He talks about, if anybody listens to Larry June, his ad libs like, good job, Larry, keep going, things like that. And he spoke about it in one of his interviews, and he said, because that's like, if you know Larry June, those are some of his known quotables, some of his known ad libs. Like he's known for good job, Larry, keep going. Like, and he was asked about that, and he said, when he first started rapping and when he kind of like started to come into self in regards to being an artist, he said nobody was telling him to keep going. Nobody was rooting for him. Yeah. Nobody was there to be like, man, keep going. You're doing a good job. So he said, when he would record, when he'd be in the booth, he would basically be motivating himself. Like,
I love that.
Good job, Larry. You're doing good. Because that's what you have to do. And I saw a guy say something on a podcast. He said, and it was very true. He said, you oftentimes find that everybody is there for you when you don't need it. But nobody is there for you when you do need it in that beginning stage. In that beginning stage when you're going for it, when you're trying to achieve, when you're trying to materialize something out the mud. Nobody's there for you. But then when you have, now you have supporters. Now you have people there for you. And he wasn't saying this in a bad way, but he was saying that's actually when you don't need anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
You already have achieved it now. In the beginning, it's when the motivation is needed or the discipline that comes from self, but from other people, like, man, I see what you're doing. Keep going. Yeah. Like, it's a blessing what you're doing. I see the vision. I see where you're going for. For the most part, that has to come from within. If you're continuously persevering and you're not hearing anything, and it's crickets.
I agree. Yeah,
and you're just going for it. But you have that burning desire and fire within to where it's like, I know I have something. I know I have. Some people allude to it in a good delusion. I would say no. It's knowing that you have something within. Some could say it's delusional in a good way, and I understand that take on it. But I look at it like, Nah, you just know that you have something that's worthy of people seeing, or you have a talent that's worthy of being expressed, or that's worthy of being out there. And although people don't know about you in this very moment, the world would know soon. That's how you have to look at it. That's how I look at it on certain things. Like, it's cool. People don't know about me that much. Maybe people around me do, might know about certain things, certain talents. Okay, but just keep going. Just keep going. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
That's all.
You just have to keep going, and it has to be within to know, like, in a humble way, I could do it. I'm that person. But it has to be from a self standpoint of, nah, keep going. Good job. You're doing good. Pat yourself on the back, but in a motivational and in a pushing yourself in the same way. It can't just be like, I'm doing good and we're stagnant. No, keep going. You're doing good.
It's fantasy, bro.
You're progressing. Yeah. Absolutely. So
I never knew that about Larry June. That's cool.
That's why he has those ad-libs.
That's so cool.
Good job, Larry. You're doing good. Good job.
That's
keep
sweet.
Going. Yeah.
No, bro. And I think that brings us to like a perfect time to kind of close this, because like you think about it, right? And the other guy was a podcast or whatever you had mentioned about, you know, the people that you need the most are whenever you first start something, not when it's successful.
Yeah.
And I could think of the times how amazing it would have been just to have, you know, just this and the beginning of it.
Yeah.
But I think the bliss is what I've seen, you know, is now.
Absolutely.
Knowing that it's here.
Yeah.
Knowing that, like, it took me and God to get it to this point, because
it means more.
Right. And it's like when people start, if I had a big production, right? If I had 5 people here and people started falling off, like boom, boom, boom. It's like, what am I going to cry? Like, am I going to, or just keep going with the things that I have? And that's why I think it's so important that you guard whatever it is that you know that you're different from everyone else of, to protect it.
Absolutely.
Protect it as much as possible. And then when you're in a place of, okay, I know the tendencies of this, I know how I can get when I go through that stuck feeling and how to get out of it. I know how to manage and maneuver all that. Now I can bring in people. Yeah. Because it can be so easy. And I've had it happen to me, bro, where I bring in people and it's like, okay, I think we're both on the same page, and then it just falls off. But it's not on them. It's not about them. It's about the vision that you have.
Absolutely.
So
to
end it, bro, like I said, Julian is probably, I mean, he's a musician, you know, he's a jack of all trades. He's a sniper.
I'm just a regular person who knows how to maybe do music every now and then.
But, you know, finish this conversation off with letting our supporters and our community know, bro, like what we just got done talking about, like what's out there for them. How can they continue to keep moving, keep growing, and keep doing things so that way they get out of the stuck feeling? Yeah.
I think, you know, sometimes things that seem cliche, they're really not. And I say that to say, like, genuinely to anybody that's listening, for first and foremost, just continue to pray. Continuously pray. Pray without wavering. Continuously pray. After that, genuinely keep going. Keep persevering. Do not quit. Don't quit. Like, sometimes you might have to take a pit stop. That's normal. When we came back from Las Cruces, we had to take a pit stop. You feel me? But we still got here. We didn't stop at the pit stop and just chill. Nah, we made the pit stop and then we got back on the road. And I say that to say, whatever you have going on, just don't stop. You might have to adjust. You might have to recalibrate. You might have to just, you know, reorganize, whatever you have to do. But if you have a burning desire in whatever endeavor you have, whatever talent you know you have, keep going. Just keep going. Keep persevering. And the reality is, it's supposed to be hard. It's going to be hard. If you had all this in the beginning, you wouldn't appreciate this right now.
No, I wouldn't.
Because now you can reflect back on, and I remember when I got that specific camera. I remember when I had to save to get that those lightings. I remember when that lighting went out and I had to, like, now it adds to the story. So now you can think about when you see everything as a unit and you're like, wow, only you know what you had to go through to get that. Nobody knows. I don't know unless you share me the story, to share the story to me. But even if you do that from an intrinsic standpoint, you know what you had to save to get this camera, to get that camera, to get this light, to get this light, to get your laptop, to get your setup. Only you know that. So it's a very personable thing. So now at that point, it's like, no, this matters to me. This is a baby.
Sure.
And you know, and you have to protect that, like you said. So to say all that, I say that to say, when you do all of those things and then you persevere, it gives meaning to it. You have to keep going. Because look, if you just stopped right now, you have too much. You've come too far. You've come too far, bro. Like, you put all this stuff in storage. Now you looking at it like, man, that was once upon a time.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I was trying to pursue it. Nah, man. Yeah. Like, we took a few weeks off. You feel me? And now we're back at it. Because sometimes you might have to do that. We needed some time to just, again, recalibrate, materialize certain things. Now we back at it into the new year. And so it's like, I say all that to say, keep going, pray first, keep going, and persevere, and do not quit. Don't quit. Please don't quit. Keep going.
Like you said, man, keep going, keep growing.
Yeah.
Stay blessed, and
absolutely
always be humble. My guy.
My brother. Love, man.
Another good one, bro.
Indeed.
Love you guys.
Indeed.
Talk.